What is your faith? Do you believe in a God, energy, science, or any other spiritual concept?
So you might laugh at this,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm quite a spiritual person. The best analogy what I believe in is, like the Force on Star Wars. I
I
don't, yeah, I watch Star Wars. Jen, all
but
right.
before you go any further, maybe I know where you're going with this. Is it kind of the way? Have you heard of the Tao, the Tao Te Ching?
No,
Oh, okay.
tell me.
So it's sure it's a Chinese.
Philosophy sort of
Yeah.
thing, or
So the Tao is spelled Tao.
oh, I didn't know that was how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So, Taoism.
Yes.
Ah,
And it means the way.
okay,
So,
yeah.
and I'm not sure if this is where you're going with the force, but it's basically something guiding us in a direction. I can't really explain it
The
off the top of my head. So
Yeah,
I'll let
it's a guiding force, but we have total free will over, how we want to be guided and how we take the directions, if you like.
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely believe there's energy. Like there's a shared, like a universal energy. I believe that we can all tap into that for inspiration and for manifestation or in hard times or whatever. And I think it's all the same thing, right? Whether you call it God, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it, what's the one that people say, like your higher self,
Yeah.
or source. People talk about source.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's all one thing. It's like when it's like you've got cars, right? A car's a car, but there are different types of cars to get you where you want to go,
Yeah.
right? So you know, I believe that we're all believing in the same thing, but we've just bought a different brand of car. And so for me, it is, yeah, that universal energy and yeah, being able to um, have a higher consciousness, I think, as well, because I think a lot of us spend so much time in our conscious critical mind, whereas our unconscious is 30,000 times more powerful. That's pretty good. So why are we letting this take control from
30,000
us?
times.
30,000 times more powerful. I meditate. I try and meditate daily. I actually practice Reiki, and I have
Really?
Reiki practiced on. Yes, I'm a Reiki practitioner.
Oh my God, I
Um,
did not know that. Karen, how did I not know that? That's amazing.
really did it not to perform Reiki on other people, but to get that understanding. I'm like you, I just love learning, right? And to feel that, see where that spirituality came from, and to practice it on myself because I find Reiki a really great calming technique, those sorts of things. At the same time, though, when it comes to business, I like to make evidence-based decisions as well, right? Like I love my intuition and guidance and things like that, but so like, show me. All right, give me the proof, give me the data. I talked about data a few times. I am quite data driven.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated, absolutely fascinated by the brain and the nervous system. And so I've done a lot of training and research in human behavior. And then I bring that into my business strategies and my advice as well. So yes, I definitely have a strong spiritual side, but also I like the science thanks as well.
Yeah. Awesome answers. What do you think the meaning of our lives are?
Oh, that's a deep one.
So
Um,
deep.
so I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she just been on this she found like a life-changing retreat. Now she's incredibly spiritual, and so I love to talk to her and listen to her. And one of the things that she was talking about, the importance of honoring this human experience that we have, bad, good, indifferent, whatever's going on for you right now, honoring it, right? And knowing that that is part of the experience and embracing it as part of the experience. Doesn't mean you always feel good about it or it's always happy, but embracing it, knowing this is part of this beautiful experience that I'm getting as a human being.
Yeah.
Now, so that makes me sort of, I loved that. I thought, what if it's as simple as that? What if that's all we're on earth to do is to have the experience, right? That the meaning is Not that we have to do something or even learn something. It's whatever we want it to be, that it's a gift, right? So perhaps the meaning of life is a gift that we are being given. And whatever we choose to do with it, that, we give it the meaning. Whatever you want it to be, whatever you want to get out of it, that's your meaning, that's your right. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting with the meaning of life at the moment. I'm feeling like it's about really going, hey, are you making the most of this beautiful experience that you're getting? Are you honoring it? Are you honoring the sad times as well as the happy times? Are you honoring being human?
Yeah, just living in the moment and taking it in as it comes resonates a lot with me, actually. I'm trying to find balance in life, accepting the good and the bad times, just as you say, not just appreciating the positive times, but really acknowledging the hard times as well.
With no dark, there isn't light.
Yeah.
It cannot exist, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's part of the human experience. No one ever said you're put on earth to be happy.
Yeah.
Right? We're put on earth to feel a range of emotions, right? And we'll feel different ones depending on our life and whatever. But if the meaning of our life, I feel like a lot of the time our society's tried to tell us that the meaning of life needs to be giving to others, or doing something like curing cancer, or whatever it is. It has to be mind blowing. What if it's not? What if that's some people are put on earth to cure cancer, right? If that's where they want to find the meaning, that's absolutely their decision. Some people, they're going to find their meaning through giving and doing things for people. And that's great. But it doesn't have to be everybody. And we shouldn't feel any shame around that either. It's whatever we want our human experience to be. Now, I believe personally that fulfillment comes from having human interaction and giving and being able to, help others. Personally, that's how I get along my fulfillment, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. It's different for everyone.
You're not a bad person if you decide you want to do something else. If you want to be selfish, that's fine. Who said selfish has to be a bad thing? You do you.
You do you. You do you. I love hearing everyone's perspective of that question, because it's all so different. And every time I hear everyone's answer, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that as well.
And this is the beauty of what you're doing, is that people like us, we can watch these videos and we can go, yeah, I like a little from column A, I like a little from column B. I went on a Buddhist retreat
Yeah.
and I loved some of the Buddhist teachings. Others I totally disagree with.
Okay.
And that's okay. I can go, okay, well, that bit I love, I'll bring that bit
Yeah.
in. That stuff, not so much. That's okay. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing I am learning as well, is you can be a little bit more go with the flow. It doesn't have to be so
Black or white or rigid.
trying to go with it a bit more.
Yeah, and I think being flexible, it's certainly, flexibility is one of the biggest, best traits if you're a business owner. But in life, I think if you can be flexible, and don't get me wrong, there are certainly areas where I'm not flexible, but I try, because if you can be flexible, you're going to feel a lot better, because there's just so much shit you can't control.
Yeah, very true. Karen, do you have any regrets in life?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I have this regret that I talk about a lot, right? It's just the one. I can't think of any others, but the one regret I have is that I didn't travel or live overseas when I was young. I wish I'd done that when I was like in my 20s, before getting into like committed relationships and children and house mortgages and all that sort of thing. I feel like if I had, as I said, everything takes you on your path.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't really regret it. But I wonder who would I be if I'd had that growth experience at a younger age, and whether I think I see Andrew, your husband and my brother, who did that. And I feel like that experience was it really shaped a lot of him. It gave him independence. It helped him to really become, to just do things, take risks, take chances, and a lot of confidence, because when you're overseas doing something like that, you're thrown into situations that you're not expecting and you make it work. So I do regret that. It's one of the things, and I try and tell my kids, and go travel, do those things before you have all those other commitments. So yeah, there you go. That's my big regret.
Oh, well, at least you're getting out there and traveling all over these days. So
Making up for it now, but
making up
I
for
just
it now.
think I'm making up for it now, and I'm having those beautiful travel experiences and being able to incorporate work and travel, which is great. But I just wonder how it might have shaped me differently if I'd done that earlier.
Yeah. What do you think is the best advice someone has given you before?
I'll just tell you something I heard recently, which I thought was great advice.
Okay.
We often struggle when we're trying to make decisions, right? What's the right decision? And
Yeah.
I think, women, we take that to a next level because we're always thinking about, well, what will people think? What are the consequences? What's the impact? Will people judge me, or, whatever, right? And so the advice was, when you're making a decision, think about, what decision would you make if there were no negative consequences? Right? What is the decision you would make if there were no negative consequences? You're not necessarily going to say, okay, well, that's what I'll do, because guess what? There are negative consequences, right?
Yeah.
But it helps you pull back to what it is that you actually want and you actually believe in. Now, you might get there and go, okay, well, if there were no negative consequences, I would do this. All right, there are negative consequences. Is there a way I can get there with minimal damage, or, whatever it is? But I just thought that would just help the decision-making process, because if you've got clarity around what the decision would be if you could have it that way, then you're going to have a better journey to find the decision that's actually going to work the best for you.
Amazing. I absolutely love that advice. Like that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use that in decision
Yeah.
making for sure.
Yeah, just helps you get some clarity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I only just heard that within the last few weeks.
Okay.
Mm.
I think a lot of people can learn from that.
Mm.
Do you have any quotes or sayings that motivate you or that you live by?
Again, so many, right? From a business perspective, I'm always saying you can have excuses or results, but you can't have both, right? And I think that works in life as well. And again, no judgment. If you want to excuse so you don't do it and don't have those results, that's up to you. But just know what you're doing when you're making those excuses, because I've done it myself, really high level excuses. I've got some quality excuses. That's fine, but you're sacrificing the results. Know what you're doing. Another one is success loves speed, getting onto things as quickly as possible. Again, life as well as business. Do the hard work once is another one. I'm always trying to look at ways to leverage, so you're not having to do this, wasting time on the same thing over and over and over again. That's really good if you're a busy person. Another one that I think works in business but also works in life is, hope is not a strategy. So, don't just hope.
Don't
Have a
hope.
strategy for what you want. Yeah, exactly. So they're my big ones. I also have one that I think about. It's not such a quote, but there's this poem that's attributed to Mother Teresa, where she talks about all these things, like people are going to not like you. People are going to be awful to you. People are going to, treat you really badly. And at the end of each thing is, love them anyway. And so I will often think about, love them anyway. So doesn't mean, there's another quote, do no harm, but take no shit. Another one that I love.
Yes.
But, if I can look at the things, even when people are treating me badly, if I can look at how can I love them anyway, it doesn't mean I have to love the behavior or accept the behavior, but I can see that they're just trying to do their best in the world. That I find that really helpful for me. So yeah, tons of quotes. I could go on for days with all of the things that I live by.
I was most looking forward to your quotes, because when I've stayed at your house, I've seen little quotes throughout, in your bathroom, and I'm like, yeah, I like that. I like that inspiration. If you could meet anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why?